can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Ra Hokum. This is a preview for the big fight taking place this weekend between the undefeated, one of the biggest prospects in world boxing, Moses Itauma, against former world title challenger Dillian Whyte, taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Ra, good to be joined by you as always. Really enjoy speaking to you and hearing what you've got to say. To start things off, what are your thoughts on this fight, please, in terms of what do you think's going to happen? Does it excite you? Give us your thoughts and your reaction to when this fight was made official.
Intrigued more than excited. Certainly wouldn't have been my first choice for Moses Itauma. As you said, is he a top prospect? I would class him as a contender now, even if he hasn't, in real terms, earned the right to be a top contender. But we know the way the governing bodies rank fighters isn't usually based on that anyway. But no, I think the way he's blown out some decent operators, like Dempsey McKean. Um, I would have liked to have seen him in with someone more durable, primarily. But you know, that's probably the only knock against Dillian Whyte in this, in terms of everything else. His ring craft experience, punching power, of course. He is a big jump up. But yeah, just the fact that he has been knocked out cold 3 times in his career, um, and visibly looking slower at 37, a hell of a lot of miles on his clock. I don't think he's going to, in real terms, be the sort of test that Itauma needs before he does step up to a world title fight, which is looking most likely to be someone like Joseph Parker, who's a very seasoned and peaking heavyweight. And I think that's the difference between, say, Parker and Dillian Whyte at this point in their careers. So, yeah, not entirely my first choice of the sort of opponent that they could have got for Moses, but he's a big name, and on paper he's a step up. So it's intriguing. I'll certainly be watching it.
Yeah, no, of course. Looking forward to it. Do you give Dillian Whyte any chance at all here, Ra? And I'm asking this because Talma, you could say is his best win is Dempsey McKean.
Mhm.
We can debate over how good a heavyweight Dempsey McKean is. But Dillian Whyte's been an active, older fighter. Um, Last performance wasn't great against Ebenezer Tete, but Whyte could look, he's still going to have that. He's still going to have some power left. He could have one big performance left, one big fight left in his career. He could still be kind of hungry and want to have big paydays the next couple of years. It's a very good time to be a heavyweight in boxing at the moment with the involvement of Riyadh season. How much of a chance do you give Dillian Whyte, if at all, here?
Well, it's got to be only a proverbial puncher's chance that most top level heavyweights have. At his best, we know he can really punch with that left hook. We haven't seen Moses take one on the chops yet. That's always going to be a question mark. And recently, we've seen a lot of young heavyweight prospects actually take L's against, in in their cases, journeymen. So, but those are actual prospects. As I said, Moses is actually a contender of sorts. I I think, yeah, it's gonna be. I'd give him what, like a 10% chance of managing to land that left hook. Just the sheer difference in speed, hand speed, foot speed, reflexes. I can't see him overcoming that. Um, but at the same time, we've seen guys recently, like for example, Ellis Zorro against Alois Jr., Moses's stablemate. We've seen him previously get KO'd, but put on a very technically savvy performance. So maybe these guys, veterans who have been knocked out, are well aware of their vulnerabilities and can go in and put on a tactical masterclass. But I just think, based on what everyone in the industry as well says, that is other fighters who've sparred with Moses coaches who've seen him spar with top heavyweights, they absolutely are sure that he really is as good as the hype says. So
Mm.
based on that, can't see him landing. It'll be a very lucky punch if he was to.
Yeah, all right. Speaking of hype, Ra, um, Moses Itauma clearly a special talent. Hasn't really put a foot wrong yet as a pro. Um, I'm just I've made this point in another video, and I just don't think there are a lot of leading contenders to rule the heavyweight division in the next 10 years. The likes of um, Usyk, Fury, Joshua are kind of in the grander stage of their careers now. You don't know when, kind of how much longer the likes of Lawrence Okoli, Joseph Parker, who are in their early to mid twenties, are going to fight on for Martin Bakole as well. These guys aren't young fighters anymore, and I just think when you look at guys in their twenties, Jared Anderson probably not the fighter a lot of people are expecting him to be. Richard Torres Jr. Has looked good, but maybe hasn't fought anybody of note yet. Um, Justice Hooney, who we saw in Ipswich get stopped against Fabio Wardy, but still looked good at times as well. Can you see can you see anyone coming up against Itauma and basically have a good chance of beating him in the next few years? Is he kind of the real strong contender to rule the heavyweight division if there is one?
Uh, I mean, I agree with you. I think in the post-Usyk era, there will be a period of flux, but I think a lot of that will be politics. So a lot of the fighters who do pick up other belts, they're going to maybe want to try and milk that for a while. So I don't see there being a rush to reunify. Um, can anyone threaten Moses Itauma? I mean, people talk about Leo Atang over at Matchroom way too early. There's the American Olympian, Joshua Edwards. Uh, Again, I've got no solid reason to believe it other than the fact that he's American. Um, but I mean, how good is the standard of American heavyweights these days? I mean, in a past era, you would know that to be an Olympian, you would have to have been really good through the amateur system. But are there that many American heavyweights anymore? But yeah, there's him. Guys like Jalalov, double Olympian. But again, he's what, 31, so a late starter. So who's the most, then the other Uzbek Olympic medalist, was it Mulojanov, has recently just tested positive for PED. So I don't know if some of these Cubans and Uzbeks coming through, could they possibly bring something that, Moses hasn't seen? Um, I think it's way too soon. I think those names are some of the ones that could possibly be a threat to Moses. If it'll be from a source that we're probably not immediately familiar with, from sort of Asia, Eastern Europe, that part of the world.
Yeah, so we'll see. I just think at the moment he looks exceptional. And
Mhm.
I don't think in terms of someone who's had more than a handful of fights, I'm not looking at anyone being like, oh, I'm not sure Tam would beat him in the next few years personally, but we'll see how he progresses. See how quickly he progresses. Final question, Rob. What do you think is going to happen here? I think most people are going Itauma inside 3 or 4 rounds. Do you go along with that, or do you see something different?
I do. I think maybe again, we know Dillian, he's never intimidated by opponents, by their reputation or any such thing. I think he might try and come out fast and test the young hotshot, see what he's got. And he might even give Moses something, or a few moments to, pause for thought. But at some point, quite early, I think Moses will see a gap, and his tremendous hand speed will enable him to land a conclusive punch fairly early. So I do expect it to be within 4 rounds.
Fantastic stuff. Well, looking forward to it. It's probably one of the biggest fights that we've got going on in August, so it's best to watch and enjoy it. Ra, thank you for your time as always. I'll speak to you again very soon.